Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of How To with Mia and Ziad. Today, we are talking about ESG investing, which stands for environmental, social, and corporate governance. These are three prongs that semi-outline what we look for when checking out a new company. But in reality, we like to take it a step further, which is why we usually refer to it as impact investing, but we'll get into all of that through this episode. Of course, before we get started here, if you haven't already, then go ahead and head over to our YouTube and click that subscribe button. Stay connected with us by following us on any of our social media accounts. They're all under the handle Gerber Kawasaki, besides our TikTok, which is Markets with Mia. Now, please remember that none of this should be taken as personal advice. If you have questions about your specific financial situation, please reach out to a financial professional who can get a better idea of your personal situation. But let's go ahead and run through the basics of ESG investing.
Impact investing is so important. Your money can be your most powerful voice, and by investing with a sustainable or impact investing lens, it allows you to put your money where your mouth is and have an impact on the future of our society. More and more people want to have a more positive influence on where we're heading in the future. And so we wanted to take some time to highlight the basics of ESG or impact investing and how it can play a part in your portfolio. Let's get into it.
ESG investing is becoming increasingly popular with the knowledge of global warming and climate change that we have today. ESG sets the standards for what we expect to see a company that we are investing in uphold. So let's break it down into the three categories, the E, the S, and then the G. So first one is environmental. This is where we are asking what's their energy usage? How much waste do they produce? What's their overall impact on the environment and pollution? And are they working towards solutions for their issues like their toxic emissions? Do they have a plan to be carbon neutral or reduce their footprint in any capacity? If climate change is something that you see as a pressing issue of today, then this is somewhere where you might want to focus a lot of the importance is into this prong. The second one is our social criteria. Questions that we're asking here is, does the company have a commitment to health and safety of their workers? Are they paying them a fair wage? What is their impact on our society? Do they encourage volunteering? Do they donate to communities and organizations in need? What are their values? Governance has to do with more of their controls within the company. So now we're on to the G. So this is their accounting methods. Are stockholders being given the opportunity to vote? Who are their board members? Does it represent a diverse community so that it caters to alternate opinions and positions? Governance can sometimes be, honestly, a little bit slept on, but it's really important. Some of the biggest corporate scandals are all concentrated in this G of ESG. So, for example, there's the Facebook misuse of data or the Volkswagen emissions test scandal. But I digress. We usually prefer to use the terminology impact investing, and Ziad will kind of further explain why.
There's a number of metrics to determine how ESG friendly an investment is. One of the more popular metrics are the MSCI ESG ratings. They're widely used amongst the investment landscape. However, it's still very subjective as to what's ESG and what isn't. That's why we prefer to use the term impact investing instead. With impact investing, we care about companies that are actually making a difference in society, not just posturing for investors. A really good example of this is Chevron. Chevron's committed over $100 million towards cleaner energy, but at the end of the day, they're an oil company, and that is dangerous to our environment. So we prefer not to invest in them, although they still are included in some ESG portfolios. On the other hand, Tesla, a company that focuses on electric vehicles and more sustainable energy, is not included in a lot of ESG portfolios. And so we prefer to include that in our impact investing lens as opposed to, say, a Chevron.
So if you can't tell, there's a lot of debates about these different buzzwords for investing in essentially a sustainable way that aligns with your values. SRI, or socially responsible investing, was a concept that was brought up in 1970s and is still talked about today. Obviously, we're talking about it literally today. It focuses on investing in companies that have positive social impacts and harshly excludes products such as alcohol, gambling, tobacco, and the production of weapons and defense tools. So its strength really is in how specific it is about what it doesn't allow for. However, it doesn't outline for the need for transparency in the way that capital is being applied. The bottom line is really that there's no one size fits all for these types of values. So you should really be asking yourself what you want to prioritize and start having these conversations with your advisor.
In the past, the term associated with impact investing was sacrificing profits for principles. But now, you don't have to sacrifice anything. You can invest with your principles and still take a lot of profits as well. In fact, in 2021, sustainable investing has been one of the highest performing areas in the investment landscape, and we don't see that stopping anytime soon, as people are becoming more attuned to spending their money in an environmentally, socially, and ethically conscious manner.
We always make it a goal to educate you on the world of investing and talk about the conversations that we're having internally and with our clients.
Impact investing is one of our core values here at GK.
If this is something that's really important to you, then don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can call us at 310-441-9393 for a free review of your portfolio. Also, let us know what topics you want to hear about for our next episodes or upcoming episodes. You can either throw them in the comments here on YouTube, or you can go ahead and DM us on any of our social media platforms. So if I don't get a DM from you, that's okay. I'll see you next week.
See y'all next week.